So how am I going to attain, let's call it dynamic kinematics? So I'm interested in how I'm moving.
Video analysis.
Right, so I'm going to use video analysis. So what am I going to do? We'll just go real quickly. How do I get to here? So how am I going to get to this point is the question. How am I going to get so I can plot position on a little chart on a piece of paper? So we're saying video analysis. What's the first step I need to do in that?
You just set up a thing to determine points in space.
Right, so I need to find a way to plot points in space. So let's go back to our arm movement. For today, I really only care about what? How my hand moves through space. So for me to do video analysis, I can't just do the video analysis and just take a video. I need some way to get a single point that's going to represent my hand. In this example, what I'm going to do is put some kind of marker on my hand. So a lot of times you'll have black rooms or people in dark clothes and you'll put white markers on them. Okay, now more sophisticated technology actually has infrared markers. Okay, and the computer and the cameras actually pick those markers up in space. But kind of the principle is I need to see a single point in space that's going to represent either a joint or my hand or whatever. So I'll go into a situation and just put a white piece of tape on if it's 1965, for instance, and that'll work. And so then what do? I videotape the performance, and then over time, what am I going to look for? So here it is, and I also need to calibrate the system so I know how I go from my little screen here until the big reality. Okay, so I need some kind of measuring system or calibration system within the videotape. Okay, so point one, here's my hand. Okay, what's the next thing I'm going to do? What's the next thing am I going to draw on our graph? So I look at the videotape, I move the film or the videotape forward some number of frames, and then what? Plot the next point, right? Then I move the videotape forward so many frames, plot the next point. And eventually I do what? Draw a straight line through those points, and I'm going to have information about position. Okay, so here it is. Now I've moved through space and time. So in these graphs, time is always going to be on the x-axis. And on these axes, you're going to have some kinematic measure. It might be meters, might be centimeters, it might be joint angles, some kind of measure that represents position. Okay, and so that's how you do it. So you're going to take video or film and just plot points of whatever body part you're interested in. And then you calculate the velocity and the acceleration from these points by taking, for instance, 0.2 minus 0.1 divided by time, and that's going to give you velocity. So these other two measures you can calculate if you can get position measure and you know your time frame. Okay, so those are the standard kinematic measures. Okay, position, velocity, and acceleration.